"You really don't look like the type of person to play sports." I stared at my friend Amanda, half biting down on the ham sandwich that my mother had made me in the morning. My small can of Pepsi was fizzing in the background annoyingly, making this sudden conversation all the more awkward. I don't, but when I'm bored, I do occasionally kick a ball around. Some breadcrumbs exited my mouth, falling into my lap. I sheepishly wiped the stains around my lips, swiping the puddles of broken bread off of my kneecaps. "I mean, I just haven't seen you in any sports teams at school, and I was wondering why." She bit her lip and sighed. It reminded me of what my mum would do when I told her I did something wrong or asked her a ridiculous question. With that information, I tended to feel hurt when the person I was talking to resorted to that god-awful trick. I just shrugged my shoulders. Sports have always been a casual thing for me. I hate getting riled up with all that competitive bullshit. I stuffed the last of my lunch into the crevices of my mouth and digested the meal. Amanda picked at her nails, not at all satisfied with my forward answer, but I was too distracted to care. She picked her lunch bag up and took out her phone. "I'll see you at 5th. She looked up thoughtfully. "Hopefully, you join some sports team soon." And with that, she was gone. I just packed up my food and threw my soft drink can into the trash. The bottle bounced off the rim of the trash can and smacked onto the hard floor. Sheepishly, I scuttled over and picked up the bent piece of metal. Once again, I lobbed the can at a centimetre distance, only to miss the target for a second time. Frustrated, I sulked away to my 4th period class. Yeah, you can call me a litterbug, but that's not going to make my throwing aim any better. I have never been the best or even remotely good at any physical sports in my life. Part of it because of my dedication, and the rest because of my weight. I'm not extremely fat or anything, but I'm definitely not making the cover of any fitness magazines. I've always just been that happy-go-lucky kid that yells in the halls and volunteers to do announcements in the lazy Monday mornings. It has been a little difficult to attract any love interest. All anyone cares about is looks these days. Don't get me wrong, I have no personal vendetta against anyone who looks better than me, but I just wish someone would look deeper. People hardly recognize conversation as an essential social tool these days. It's all about the clothes, the looks, the makeup, the hairstyles. Now that I think of it, I've always been the fat guy in my class. Since kindergarten, my classmates have called me Big Jim, or any other creative nicknames involving a size description. Being the soft person I was back then, I was honestly fine with it, and I still am. I'm alright with the amount of weight that clings to my gut, as long as I'm allowed to eat whatever I wish. After school that day, I headed back to my little shack, adjacent to most of the confectionaries that surrounded my area. My parents had left me in a train station when I was only a month old, making it hard for me to find an actual house. Yeah, rent's a little hard to come by when you're only a year in the making. Jokes aside, after my parents abandoned me, I was placed into the custody of a couple of old folks. They had never had children. They were really friendly and they took great care of me. But I can hardly remember those years, because when I turned 8, they sadly passed away in a car accident. In that period of time, I moved between foster care and orphanages, amassing a lot of weight from the sheer amount of junk food. Finally, I settled into a nice bungalow right beside my high school with another elderly couple by the names of Charles and Martha. They'd pretty much just stay in their couches all day. I'd cook them lunch, breakfast and dinner when Martha was too busy sleeping. To be honest, I don't think they wanted a kid. It only took me to make some noise in their dull house. Sadly, these days, I barely see them, only greeting them occasionally when they're in bright spirits. I don't want to point any fingers, but part of the reason that I'm so overweight and unhealthy is the fact that there's no one to tell me to stop. I've never had any guidance. Kids need that growing up. It's always been on me when it comes to decision making, and my perseverance is a bit lackluster. I entered my room and I sat on my flat bed, contemplating various thoughts in my head that were actually pointless to think about. Dozens of candy wrappers and chip bags were scattered across the floor, making my room seem like an aquarium of shiny tropical organisms. I opened up my laptop to check my email and my recent messages, just in case someone was requesting me. After all, today was New Year's Eve. A pretty tragic one for me, apparently. I scanned through my scanty amounts of direct messages, finding nothing but spam from internet trolls. There was absolutely no mention of any party or anything I was invited to. Even Amanda hadn't contacted me. She had promised to voice chat me the details of her night. This had been a yearly tradition for us. We'd spend our hours from 8 to 12 just talking about life, getting ready for the coming year and all that. I was a little disappointed that she had failed to commit. Her mistake left me with nothing to do that night. Rifling through the last pieces of spam in my inbox, I stumbled across a letter addressed to me with a very pointed subject box. Feeling a bit sad? The new year might be your solution. I eyed the message suspiciously, checking for any hidden jokes, just in case I had been targeted by anyone I knew at school. If that was the case, I wouldn't be too surprised. My weight was a pretty hot topic for some of the scumbags who were in my classes. I read on. We've all been there before. That little place called self-consciousness. It really sucks, but it's much worse if we've been there and can't get out. I chuckled a little at the sheer stupidity of the paragraph. Take the new year and make it the one you'll never forget. Make a resolution. It's up to you. P.S. Send your self-made resolutions to this email, and we will make your wishes come true. I smirked and deleted the email. Despite it cheering me up and reminding me to make promises for the following year, the letter was staining my clean storage space. Moreover, the sender was unknown, which added to my suspicion that this was some kind of troll. I sighed, shut off the lights in my room, and plunged myself into darkness. The screen on my analog clock displayed a bright time, reminding me of my complete New Year's flop. I guess the loneliness made me feel sad, so I knocked on my reading lamp and I searched for my laptop. The time on the clock read 11:41 p.m. Opening up my email, I headed straight for the garbage bin, dead set on restoring that message. I added the sender to my contacts list, getting ready to send my own little message. Yeah. Boredom and depression really make people do crazy things sometimes. I typed as fast as possible, weaving up a message related to my New Year's resolution. I don't know who you are, how you know I'm fat, and why you think this is funny, but because I have nothing else to do, I'll respond to you. I've been really round across the edges since I was born, and I'm quite lazy when it comes to losing weight. I hope that this new year I can drop a few calories and eat healthier. Also, I've been pretty empty happiness-wise these past few days. Yeah, that's it. Taking a deep breath, I sent the message. The time was now 11:59 p.m. And with that, I stuffed myself back under the blankets and I went to sleep. That all happened the day before yesterday. A flash of events in the blink of an eye. I couldn't possibly fathom what would happen to me the next day. I woke up feeling so much lighter than I should have or could have been. It was like I could pick myself up with a breeze of air and go off to fly in the blue sky. It was hard for me to get out of bed, my feet not able to plant themselves firmly on the ground. I waddled over to my weight scale, getting ready for the biggest scare of my life. 150 pounds. I stepped off, confused at the numbers displayed on the stupid circle. Just a week ago, when I measured myself, I was perching at a fat 200 pounds across my body, and that was an all-time high for me. I groped my legs and my arms, unsure why I was weighing 50 pounds less after only a week. And honestly, in that week, I had barely moved. My skin felt much more plushier than before, kind of like a stuffed toy that you'd find at Mastermind. I was terrified at first. I thought someone must have done something to me while I was sleeping. I was honestly contemplating involving the police. Then I realized I was much smaller now. Under normal circumstances, I would have jumped into the air, pumping my fist like a crazy animal. However, this change had come too fast, too unexpectedly. I really wasn't sure what to think of this. I spent that whole day yesterday trying to figure out my new body shape, converting myself to a whole new person. To be quite honest, although it was really weird for me, I was beginning to ease into this interesting new evolution of my body. I really didn't want to tell anyone, and it was easy for me to keep a secret, because as I mentioned, my guardians were too busy sleeping or playing bingo. Then I woke up today, the second day of the new year, and I weighed 140 pounds. I could feel the fat slipping from my body the moment I relapsed back into the human world. When I wished for weight loss, I had meant for it to be natural, something that I could achieve for myself. I'm not really complaining. The convenience has made it easier, but it truly scares me. The weight that I lose is not actually being taken from my body. It's more like it's being sucked out, leaving me like a hollow toy. I feel around my now slim, toned belly, and I feel nothing. I press down on my chest, where ribs should be, and it presses in like a balloon. I feel the meat inside me evaporating. I don't know what to do. I guess the last thing that I'd like to put out there is the response I got from the unknown sender just a few minutes ago. It's better to be empty than to feel empty. You'll get used to it. Happy New Year's.